Now would seem like a very good time to have a look at the new professions Bluepost. Does this mean we're getting professions, some early examples of profession shit in the alpha build? Are they preparing us for that? Who knows? I have not read this at all. I'm not great when it comes to profession stuff, so I'm hoping some of you can help me understand it. With Dragonflight development in full swing, you will soon get a chance, I think it is going to be in the first alpha build then, right? To try out the new and updated profession system in World of Warcraft. This system has been designed to provide greater depth and engagement, allowing you, the crafters of Azeroth, to differentiate yourselves and stand out from your peers. Before diving into the details of crafting, it's worth noting that there are 3 main pillars to revamp professions. Crafting orders, fucking brilliant idea. Profession specializations, I need to be told more about this. And crafting and gathering with quality. Sounds like some very grindy shit. But people like grindy shit. I'm not against grindy shit. Crafting orders are a new way for you to place an order for almost any Dragon Isles crafting recipe. Now, as someone who isn't like a massive crafter, and who will definitely not be diving as deep as it is possible to in the new profession system in Dragonflight, that will definitely not be me. I will engage with it to a certain degree, but I am not going to be no master craftsman, okay? I ain't going to be the guy that you go to when you need the magic hat made. When you just picked something up from Raid, and you're like, at last, I can make the magic hat, but I need the person that can make the magic hat, and there aren't many of them around, so I'm going to find who that person is. It's not going to be me. That's not going to be me, no. However, the crafting orders thing is such a fucking good idea. I love the crafting orders thing. Fantastic. Let's read more about it. This new service will be provided to you nearly free of charge by representatives of the Artisans Consortium, a new trade organization recently founded with its first branch in the Dragon Isles. When placing an order, there are 3 options that you can set for who can fulfill it. Available to anyone, guild members only. Blizz just racking up these dubs. Racking up these dubs. With the order system. Landing those dubs, Blizz. I love it. Or a specific individual. Also very cool. Tradable regents can then be provided by you or the crafter, while certain special reagents may only be provided by one or the other. So there is like a soulbound element to this. No matter how much of a master crafter you are, there are some things you simply can't make without the reagent being provided by the person who is going to receive the good, which is how they are making it top quality raid level items. Because what it means is you will have to kill a boss to get the thing that drops so that you can get your magic hat made. And only you can receive that magic hat from your reagent being provided. You don't have to raid to get it. I'm certain there will be okay, you can get it from Mythic Plus or PvP too. Yeah, okay. Okay. Same diff. It's the crafters or your reagent. Well, I don't understand what you mean. Meaning effectively it's only bad luck protection and not a real means to gear up. Counterpoint. What if it's not even bad luck protection? What if it basically means it's just an extra step to a gear drop? Because what's happening when your fucking magic hat reagent drops from a boss or Mythic Plus, that's replacing just the fucking hat dropping, right? What that means is now a reagent is dropping that instead of it being a fucking hat that you're like, awesome, my hat dropped. You're going, awesome, my fucking reagent dropped. Now all I have to do is pay a crafter to make it for me. I don't know because I haven't read the entire article, but that would be a potential problem. No, because you can get the hat and the reagent and then sell the reagent in a crafting order. You can sell the reagent. I think the reagent is going to be soulbound, my friend. This is what they're saying. Some things will need a reagent which must be provided by the crafter or the buyer. And in the ones where it's going to be the stuff that needs to be provided by the buyer, that's going to be a reagent that you cannot sell. 100%. So that you can't sell the mythic hat that just dropped for you, essentially. You will not be able to sell the reagent for your mythic hat. You will not be able to sell it. Nope. You might be able to trade it to someone in your raid, but you won't be able to sell it. 100%. I'm telling it now. Haven't read the article, but I'm calling that now. 100%. The crafter or the order maker can provide the reagent. No, you've read that wrong. No. You've read that wrong. Tradable reagents can be provided by you or the crafter, while certain special reagents may only be provided by one or the other. That means your mythic hat reagent, I'm calling it right now, will only be able to be provided by the buyer. It has to be your magic hat reagent that has dropped for you from whatever the content is, that you are then paying a crafter to make. The crafter is not going to be able to gather magic hat reagents and make magic hats to fucking sell. That ain't how it's going to work, my friend. You are going to need to have your soulbound mythic hat reagent drop, and you won't be able to sell that because it'll be soulbound. And that'll be something that only you can provide. Does that make sense? But then what is the benefit of you being the crafter? The fucking sweet gold, mate! Plus there will be other things that only the crafter can supply. And that is good for crafters because it means they don't have to run that content to be making those things. Yeah, absolutely. So at its worst, and this has been my worry since this system was announced, at its worst, all this really does is add an extra step to your gear drops. I'm not saying that's how it's going to work, but at its potential worst, the wording isn't clear. No, I think that wording is perfectly clear. I think that wording is absolutely clear. In particular, soulbound reagents will often need to be provided by you when placing an order for a soulbound item. I don't think this wording could be any clearer. It's very, very obvious what it means. At its worst, it's just going to add an extra step to gear drops, which will be very frustrating. But let's see how that's going to pan out. I haven't read the rest of the article, like I say. But I think this wording is incredibly, very clear. Very, very clear. When it comes to, the absolute top-level gear, it's going to be a soulbound regent, which is dropped in the content that you do, which is soulbound to you, and only you can provide for the item that you're going to be able to wear. You won't be able to sell it. You won't be able to give it to someone to... Yeah. I think it's pretty clear. Let's have a look at this. Oh, yeah. My brain always just turns off completely when I see UIs like this. I know some people get incredibly excited by UIs like this. My brain is... No. It's more bad luck protection. Instead of a specific item not dropping off a boss, a reagent might drop off any boss, so you can take it to a crafter and get a specific item you want crafted. That's my understanding. Okay, I get that. But drop rates for the actual item are going to take into account that there's a very, very efficient bad luck protection as well, are they not? You know? I love the forge that allows you to make... any gear into tier pieces. I think it's wonderful. I highly approve of it. But they also do take the fact that that forge exists into account when they're deciding drop rates of shit, right? Which is why I can run through an entire LFR of Sepulchre on a character and not get literally a single fucking gear drop. It always comes out in the wash, friends. You will also be able to customize the order further by including various optional regents, depending on the recipe, dictating exactly what you want to be crafted. For example, many equipment recipes will allow you to specify secondary stats, similar to missives of Shadowlands. Great stuff. Once you have finished customizing the order, you'll decide on an offered commission to the crafter, pay a small posting fee, and send it off. Crafters can then view these orders, filling in any missing regents, craft the item. I've got a feeling that crafters are going to need a lot of add-ons to tell them, work out who is offering the best deal. For example, say I put in a work order and I'm offering 50 gold to complete this work order, but I'm supplying all of the mats. And then say there's someone who's only offering... someone who's offering 60 gold for the order, but is only supplying half the mats. Which one is the better deal for the crafter? Only an add-on can really tell you that. I'd be really interested to see how that works in practice. Do you think it might be a problem if a crafter can just camp on the crafting order person and craft every single order that the customer supplies mats on? Maybe there'll be a cooldown on certain crafts, but it's potentially a problem, yeah, I guess. But then, also, good luck to him, I guess. Oh, I guess maybe things will have a crafting time, right? I don't know. Let's read on. It's an interesting point. I think it's a fair point. Crafters can then view these orders, fill in any missing regents, craft the item, and collect the commission, minus a small cut for the Artisans Consortium, of course. The finished item will then be delivered to you in the mail. On the other end of the transaction as a crafter, this will be a great new way for you to earn gold, increase your skill, and most importantly, help craft for your friends and guildmates. That is the most important thing in my opinion. If you focus on quality and customer service, you might even build up your own following of customers and lock in steady business. As far as the crafting orders system goes, I have some fucking questions. I feel like it needs to be very easy and built into the UI for crafters to work out which the best commission is. A commission for 50 gold where all the mats are supplied, or commission for 100 gold where only half the mats are supplied. There needs to be a non-add-on way of crafters having an easy way to work out which is the best deal for them. Wow, making the game so complicated. Thank God I quit it. I mean, the thing is, people who like professions and want to dedicate themselves to professions want it to be complicated. They want a depth to it. And I completely understand that. Now, in my opinion, you can get all of that depth, and you can actually get even more depth by completely decoupling it from player power stuff. In my opinion, professions aren't going to be what everyone wants professions to be until there's player housing. And until you're making tables and curtains and pictures and basically this never-ending supply of cosmetic shit that people are going to want to put in their houses, because then you can make making that shit as complicated and as unique as possible, because who gives a shit? It's not connected to player power. The problem when you connect it to player power is essentially everyone has to be able to do it to some degree. If you're connected to player power, you have to lose an element of scarcity, which means it's never going to be what people who, want professions to be incredibly deep, and maybe there's only one person on a server that can do this thing. That can never be allowed to happen when you're connecting it to player power. The only way you can ever get a system like that is to have player housing. What do you mean by player power? An item which is like a good item that you wear that makes your character more powerful, like gear. The second you connect it to like gear, things that make your player more powerful, you have to limit the scarcity of it. But anyway, I think this is definitely kind of, more in the direction of people want. They talk about that in the article. Good. But this is definitely a step in the right direction. There's lots that I need to know. Yeah, how are they going to deal with the potential campers? I guess the way that they will deal with crafters camping the auction house is the fact that not every crafter is going to be able to make everything, right? Because you have to specialize. And the idea is, okay, someone could specialize in everything with enough time put into it, but those people are going to be very, very rare. And essentially, like, a crafter is going on to the order section, and they're trying to find stuff they can make as much as trying to steal every order. I'd imagine that has to be the thinking. It's like, I can't just click on every order that has all the gear, the mats supplied and make it, because I literally can't make all of them. I imagine that's how they're going to try and make it happen. Professional specializations. Professional specializations will allow you to specialize in your primary crafting and gathering professions once you've reached a high enough skill. You will earn specialization points through a variety of activities. I love that. Love that phrase. Through a variety of activities. A variety of activities. A variety of activities. A variety of activities. I wonder. And get to spend them to permanently improve different areas of your profession. I think you might be onto something there. I think world quests might well be one of those variety of activities. If you don't think some of these things can be connected to questing in some way, or rep or something like that, I got some news for you, friend. This will be one of the main ways you can differentiate yourself from your peers, as there will be many areas of each profession to specialize in, and I guess they're hoping that is going to alleviate the kind of the camping on the auction house for commissions as well. More to come on this feature a bit later. Crafting with quality. New to World of Warcraft is the concept of crafting quality, both for crafted items and many gathered regents. This is not to be confused with rarity such as common, uncommon, rare, epic, and legendary, which will remain unchanged and isn't directly related to crafting quality. Crafting equipment will have 5 levels of possible quality, while many other crafted and gathered items, such as potions and ores, will have 3 levels of quality, as we can see. Oh, you got your brown shit tier 1 all the way up to mega gold. It goes bronze, silver, gold, diamond, and mega gold. Can't wait to get my mega gold shit, fam. Pentagon, mate. Because it's tier 5. Graphic design is my passion. A pentagold. That is what we will call it from now on. You got bronze, silver, gold, diamond, pentagold. When I post commissions on the auction house, I can be like that. Pentagolds only. Pentagold crafters only. I don't want no tier 4 diamond scrubs. Only give me your pentagolds. For crafted equipment, quality will primarily modify item level, with each level of quantity increasing it by a small amount. For example, a piece of crafted leveling gear might be item level 270, 272, 274, 277, 280. At quality, bronze, silver, gold, diamond, pentagold. In all cases, the goal is to have quality matter enough for it to be worth your effort to achieve higher qualities without having the gains be so large that the lowest quality versions don't feel worthwhile. Dude, if one thing is 280 and one thing is 270, the lowest item is not worthwhile. I'm sorry, dudes. If one thing is 277 and one thing is 280, that 277 is fucking trash. I'm really sorry. If, like, it's possible to get the thing at 280, you can only make it at 277, you're a fucking scrub. You are not the crafter I'm looking for. Get the fuck out. You are trash. Come back to me when you've got your pentagold. You are worthless to me. 279 would be trash. 279.5 would be trash. Pentagolds only, nerds. We don't roll with no diamonds here. Pentagolds only. I'm clowning. Don't worry. I'm sure some idiots would buy it at 274. Some scrubs would buy it at 274. In all cases, the goal is to have quality. Yeah, blah blah blah. For crafted items such as consumables that have quality, the effects of quality are a bit more varied. For most, a higher quality will result in a more powerful effect, but in some cases, it might come in other forms of variation, such as longer duration, more charges, etc. Again, why do I want anything that isn't pentagold? Note that there is an expectation that low quality versions of these items will sell for less, but this will provide a niche for those who don't want to spend a lot of gold to be able to make use of the full suite of crafted items. It will also be cheaper to craft lower quality versions of these items for a variety of reasons. I know, fam. Do you know what it sounds like? I'm sure they've got a system in place to stop this from happening, but the obvious thing is going to be that the pentagolds are just going to sell it at a low profit, which means it's not even going to be worth crafting them at a lower thing, because you'll just be losing gold on the regents. That is what I imagine they have systems in place to prevent somehow, because that is the first obvious problem that you think of, right? It's like pentagolds are just going to treat it like normal crafting, right? You're not going to get pentagolds going, I'm pentagold, therefore I can sell this shit at a 300% markup. It's like, no, I'm happy just still only making a profit of like 10 gold on each one. But that means that it's impossible for anyone who isn't a pentagold to make profit on it. You know, you still got the market cornered as a pentagold. That's the obvious potential problem. I'm sure there's shit to stop that from happening. Lower quality works for consumables, not sure about gear. We'll see. The reason I think there is already a system in place to prevent this is because they say it will also be cheaper to craft lower quality versions of these items for a variety of reasons. And I'm looking forward to finding out what those variety of reasons are, because I'm sure they have answered my concern. I'm not bringing that up like I'm not like, Blizz, I have broken your system with my massive brain. You thought your system was excellent until butted up against my fantastic Cosmo brain. I'm sure that's not the case. I'm sure they have thought of the exact most obvious problem that I thought of in 5 seconds, and I'm sure there are some things to prevent that from happening. That's what that sentence suggests to me. So look, here we go. What have we got here? Difficulty 200. Crafting skill 33, resourcefulness 22%, inspiration 7%. And they're going to make it so that obviously the more you craft, that's how you fill up your bar to get, in this case at least, to get from bronze to silver. Okay. For regents that have quality, that quality value will serve as a major input into crafting. Crafting with higher quality basic regents will directly provide bonus skill when crafting with them. Finishing reagents are a new type of reagent that can be used to improve aspects of the crafting process, increasing skill or crafting stats, for instance. Higher quality versions of these will have stronger effects on crafting. So here we have the example of the brewed salt, a finishing crafting reagent. A bronze quality one increases inspiration by 9 and crafting speed by 15%. These are absolutely going to have cooldowns like a mission table. Some of these things are going to take like 8 hours to craft. Some of these things are going to take like 24 hours to craft. Some of these things at the lowest quality might take like a week to craft. Don't buy that for a minute, Tali. Wait. Just to be very clear. No, I think there'll be stuff that at the lowest quality could take a week. And that's why you're going to want to use higher level reagents. That's why you're going to want to... Because here's the thing, right? You don't have to be... So brewed salt is something that you would use to create alchemy and leather armor recipes, all right? Now, irrelevant of what level you are at leatherworking or alchemy, you can get bronze brewed salt or gold brewed salt, right? So what if you are a bronze level leatherworker and you're making something that needs brewed salt? I bet there is stuff that if you were to use a bronze level brewed salt would take like a week. I bet you. However, if you were to use gold level brewed salt, it might only take a day. Irrespective, like, you know, and obviously if you were a gold level leatherworker, you could use bronze level brewed salt. I'm willing to bet that there are crafts where if you're low level and you're using low level ingredients, I bet there are crafts that take more than a day. Who's willing to take that bet? These are work orders. People would never be interested in waiting a whole ass week. But Lino, you ain't taking no fucking work orders if you're a bronze level leather worker working with bronze level regents. You're not in a position to take any work orders at that point anyway. No one thinks you're going to take any work orders that are going to take a week to make. What I'm saying is, to make sure you level these things quicker, you're going to want to make sure you're using good ingredients. Okay, I think 24 hours will be max. Bank it. 8th Endless, I will take that bet. I will take that bet. Of course you are. At the start of the expansion, most stuff will be bronze. No, people are going to get past that, leveling up really fucking quick. Okay, I'll take the bet with both of you. I will take the bet. I bet you, when I fucking log in, I bet you there are items that if I was using a bronze quality finishing regent, and if I was a bronze quality crafter in that thing, I bet there are crafts that would take me more than a day to make. That would imply you wouldn't actively be creating the item though, versus the traditional cast bar that we use today. I'm talking craft time. I'm talking craft time. Although they're functionally the same. And I'm talking about being a bronze crafter using bronze quality ingredients. Because I know what's going to happen. I'm going to be right, and you motherfuckers in chat are going to be like, no, Tali, because if you use gold quality ingredients, it will be less than a day. And I'll be like, yeah, bitch, that's what I was saying. Yeah, cooldown, not you need to be logged in for a week straight. Oh, I don't know. I think there'll be like a workbench, and you start your craft, and like a mission table. I'm certain this is why mission tables aren't going to be in Dragonflight. I think these crafts are going to work like a mission table. You're going to go, I would like to craft this thing, and you start the craft, and it's like, this will be finished in a day. I don't think that's out there at all. I think that'll happen. A cooldown is functionally the same thing, but I don't think it will be that. I think it will be literally over a day until it's actually finished. I don't think this is controversial. I think this is, and I don't see anything wrong with it either. I just think it's perfectly feasible that there is going to be if you are like a bronze quality crafter, which by the way, it'd be very easy to not be a bronze quality crafter. I've got a feeling going from a bronze quality crafter to like a fucking silver quality crafter is not going to be very hard at all. Likewise, getting silver quality reagents over bronze quality reagents, I don't think is going to be a problem. You know, I don't think it's going to be a very difficult thing to do at all. So I think, yeah, if you're a bronze quality crafter, crafting something with bronze quality ingredients, yeah, I think it's perfectly feasible. There will be crafts that take over a day to do. Okay, here's my hot take. Here's my hot take. This crafting system is why there's no mission tables, okay, in Dragonflight. This crafting system and having crafts that are clearly going to take time to make, that you are going to start from a crafting table and have like a set time that they take to make, and then they'll be finished, and maybe there's even a chance you won't make them if you're like low level. Maybe it'll break and not work. I'm calling it now. This is my hot take. That is why there's no plans for a mission table in Dragonflight. It's because this shit is the mission table. That's my hot fucking take. Not a 1-for-1, obviously, but there's a very obvious equivalence here. And not a 1-for-1 equivalence, granted, but going to your work table, putting on a craft, putting in your fucking ingredients, clicking all the things that you want, and that craft has started, and then you log in, like the next day, and your little crafting table icon on your minimap is flashing because that craft is finished. And you go to your table to pick it up. Maybe they won't have broken gear 8th Endless, you're right. But it is essentially a mission table, right? Yeah. Lastly, please note that not all gathered reagents will have quality. The core reagents gathered by the primary gathering professions of mining, skinning, yeah, that makes sense. Other reagents such as fish, cloth, meat, and elements that can be gathered by anyone will not. Exactly. So it's more like a finishing item thing. Do you think there will be similarities between the Final Fantasy XIV? Well, I mean, it is already more similar to Final Fantasy XIV than to what WoW currently is, yeah. Definitely. When crafting an item, there are two main elements to note. The recipe difficulty will determine how hard it is to craft the recipe at a higher quality. Recipe difficulty will also change when you include optional reagents, which can modify it up or down depending on their effects and quality, sometimes significantly. So, okay. I have got a bronze quality Draconic Missive of the Fire Flash, which adds plus 15 to the recipe difficulty. But if I'm using a gold quality Draconic Missive of the Fire Flash as one of my ingredients, it will only add plus 10 to the recipe difficulty. And if I wasn't adding the Draconic Missive of the Fire Flash at all, and not guaranteeing critical strike and haste on my item, it would be no plus difficulty on that item at all added to it. So I'm adding difficulty to that recipe by using a missive which adds guaranteed critical strike and haste, and it's less difficulty that I'm adding depending on the quality of the item. Makes sense. Your crafting skill is determined by your base skill in your profession, but can be modified by a variety of factors, including the quality of the reagents you use. Finishing reagents, profession gear with skill bonuses. So profession gear with skill bonuses is a very interesting concept, because it means that just like in Final Fantasy XIV, you are going to have a crafting gear set. From the very beginning, crafting orders were the most exciting part of the system for me, but the second most exciting part of this system for me is the fact that when you go to do your blacksmithing, you are going to change into your blacksmithing gear. When you go to do your leatherworking, you are going to change into your leatherworking gear. And it's going to be an awesome leatherworking transmog with a fucking apron and a fucking utility belt and shit like that. The potential here is exquisite and off the charts. Yeah, it will definitely be themed. And hopefully they're non-transmoggable as well. So you have to look like an absolute tit. I want these... Okay, I'm putting this out there right now. Blizz, take note. Listen, this is very important. I'm going to go full screen. It's so important. These crafting gear sets, do not make them transmoggable. Not initially. I want to be able to tell how good a blacksmith is by their blacksmithing set. I don't want no one else going around pretending to be a blacksmith. I don't want anyone else wearing a transmog that makes them look like they're not as good a blacksmith. When someone is dressed in their blacksmith gear, they are dressed in their work clothes. Okay? And I want to see what level blacksmith they are by their work clothes. In the same way that when I work into a shop, I can tell who the fucking till monkey is, and I can tell who the manager is. And it's usually by how they're dressed. When I go into a restaurant, I can tell who the fucking waiter is and who the chef is by how they're dressed, right? I want to be able to tell that. Do not, I repeat, do not make these transmoggable. Thank you. Till monkey lol. Hey, I'm allowed to say that because I've been a till monkey in plenty of places. I'm someone that would open up all transmog limits. Open them up. I don't give a shit. Let people transmog into plate gear when they're wearing cloth. I don't give a fuck. However, do not allow these crafting sets to be transmoggable, because that will be fun, in my opinion. Cuts Cats, thank you very much for the 12 months. Congratulations. Happy birthday. Yeah, I think when you're in your work clothes, you shouldn't be able to look like you're in your work clothes, right? You got to look like you're at work. No fucking around. You got to look like you're at work when you're wearing your work clothes. I cannot be budged on this. Well, maybe I could. I like to think I've got an open mind, but I can't think of anything that would convince me otherwise. As you can see from the below image, your crafting UI will make it clear, based on all of these factors, what quality you're expected to craft your item at. Hang on. There's a very important word in that sentence. Expected. Your crafting UI will make it clear, based on all of these factors, what quality you are expected to craft your item at. And you guys were telling me there was no fail state in this. Oh, it could roll better? Okay. But it could roll worse. Is it possible to roll worse? Okay, the only gamble here is for a bonus. I believe it. That's okay. If that's what it says later on, I'll get to it, and that's okay. No worse, but possibly better. RNG. And I guess the higher your inspiration, the more chance there is that it will roll higher, right? That's what I'm assuming here. Okay, well, this all makes perfect sense so far. This dude is almost a pentagold. Nice. Right. As you craft your item, there is a small amount of randomness added to your skill roll to represent the natural variation in your crafting execution. In addition, if you have any inspiration, a new crafting stat, you have a chance to become inspired, gaining a significant amount of bonus skill during the craft. This means you may do better than you expected, but never worse. Okay, that's fine. I mean, it is basically Titan forging again, but fine. Okay, whatever, man. In the end, your final crafting skill will be compared against the recipe difficulty. If that skill is higher than the difficulty, you will craft the item at maximum quality. Otherwise, the quality will depend on where your skill falls comparatively. So you can craft stuff which is above your difficulty level, but it just won't be max level. It's interesting too. In addition to your primary crafting skill, there are several secondary crafting stats that can affect crafting of new Dragonflight recipes, and which you can specialize and gear towards. These are as follows. Inspiration. You have a percent chance to be inspired crafting the recipe with extra skill. Inspiration is for those of you who love rolling the dice. It's all of us. And getting lucky on some bonus quality. It's also a way to craft items at a higher quality than your natural skill, and a specialization would allow when you get lucky. Resourcefulness. You have a percentage chance to use fewer tradable reagents, such as ore. If you are trying to squeeze every drop of profit out of your crafts, then this is the stat for you. Multi-craft. You have a percentage chance to craft additional items. Only works on recipes for stackable items. Yeah, you're not going to it's pointless to make two of the same mythic hat that only one person is allowed to have. We have long loved the feeling of crafting extra items from various abilities like Potion Master and Burning Crusade. Always felt good in BFA, in fairness. If you were doing your potions and, you know, you crafted 20 instead of like 1, always felt good. Multicraft cements this as a permanent crafting stat for those of you who love that moment of crafting a bit extra. Crafting speed. For those of you who mass produce crafts for the auction house or just want to save a few seconds now and then, crafting speed is a stat to help you create those items a bit faster. I'm telling you, man, armor pieces, they're going to be a mission table thing. For stackable items, what you're going to do, the way that crafting speed is going to be a thing is that, no, it'll be like you can produce 5 at once, or 10 at once, or 20 at once, right? That'll be how speed works for, like, you know, spammable, stackable items, right? It will be like, instead of creating 1 potion at a time, you're creating 10 potions at a time or something like that. That'll be how speed is represented in those things. And at higher level stuff like gear, it's going to take it down from like 6 hours to 3 hours, something like that. Isn't that multi-crafting? No, because multi-crafting is a chance to proc extra ones. So in that case, if your speed rating is like you create 5 pies at a time instead of 1 pie at a time, then your multi-crafting thing might proc it. So you're creating 5, 5, 5, 10, 5, 5, 5, 15. And that's the multi-craft doing that. But it's the speed that's making you produce 5 every time. Are you sure of this? Look, I just have a brain. Yeah, it's obvious. Oh, this is a nice way of putting it. Thank you. I should have said it like this, Crazy Yellow. Yeah. When crafting 5 at a time with speed, it would still cost the reagents for 5 items. Yeah. Whereas your multi-craft would sometimes proc it so that you've then done 10 instead of the 5, but you've still only spent on the 5, right? Yeah, for sure. Right. Okay. Quality philosophy. Many players will want to craft the best of the best and will settle for nothing less. Yeah, most players. With that in mind, we want to share a bit about our philosophy for quality and difficulty tuning for recipes. For many early and lower tier recipes, such as leveling gear, starter potions, and more, right as you learn them, your general crafting skill may be low enough that you will tend to craft them at the lowest quality. These recipes aren't meant to be difficult though, and through gaining a higher skill in your profession, specializing in paths that make you generally better, these recipes will tend to become easy to make at max quality, even with low quality reagents. On the other hand, many of the recipes for the high-end items, particularly gear with powerful optional reagents and top-tier consumables, will be extremely difficult to craft at the highest quality. In fact, the goal in these situations is that only the best of the best of the best of the best can make them at the highest quality, and only by using every tool at your disposal. What this means in practice is that if you wanted to craft the most difficult recipes at max quality, for example, a chest with an item level equivalent to that of mythic raids, yes, this will be possible, you would likely need to fully specialize in crafting that type of gear. Use all top quality reagents, both required and optional, all of which would require extremely skilled gatherers and crafters as well. Use the best profession gear you can find, which would also likely require highly specialized crafters to make. On top of that, you would either need to get lucky with inspiration, love the word lucky, or use a valuable finishing reagent that boosts skill to guarantee the item is crafted at top quality. In other words, it will take the contribution of many skilled crafters and gatherers, as well as some luck or extra resources to make those best items at the highest quality. Okay, so luck is one way, but there's also a way to guarantee it. I feel, because I made a thing of the word luck there, I feel I am duty bound to point out that luck is an option, but not the only way. The goal here is to make sure crafting the best of the best, or having it crafted for you, will be no small feat and one to be proud of. We also want to emphasize that you will never need to rely on luck. Luck can be of much help to you if you want to focus on inspiration, but it's never necessary. We're all worried about crafters sitting there farming all of the work orders, but is it possible that it'll be the opposite problem? It's like, I wish there was a crafter farming all of these orders and I wasn't having to wait for one. We also hope this means crafting the very highest quality items turns out to be very lucrative, while also being something that a large guild can coordinate to do on their own. Very lucrative. And there, ladies and gentlemen, is where the WoW token comes in. I always thought, and I've said before, Blizz makes so much money off of Shadowlands legendaries. The sheer amount of gold that it takes to level up to give a bunch of alts double legendaries at max level, the sheer outlay of gold for those base items is not as much as it used to be, granted, but the amount of WoW tokens that have been bought over the course of Shadowlands for legendary base items surely exceeds the sub money that has come in from this expansion. And I was like, with the best will in the world, even if Dragonflight is head and shoulders better than Shadowlands. Please note, though, that the goal is not to have high-end gear cost anything remotely approaching the cost of top legendaries in Shadowlands. Dude, they can say that, but if you are talking, it needs the contribution. Can we go back like one sentence or one thing here? It will need the contribution of many skilled crafters and gatherers. There's no way, and they want it to be very lucrative, presumably for all of those. Like, it's going to cost a lot of gold. They can say they don't want it to be the cost of the top legendaries in Shadowlands, but then it's not going to be very lucrative, is it? Both of these things can't be true. To become someone that can make these items that they want to be very lucrative is going to take a lot more work than it currently takes to be able to make Shadowlands base items, right? So there's no way they're going to cost less than the legendaries in Shadowlands. Ergo, a lot of WoW tokens are going to be sold. Plus, what you're doing is you are introducing... they've already said that the creation catalyst is going to be recreated in Dragonflight, but it will be a crafting thing that crafters do. There's going to be a lot of things to pay crafters to do, and therefore there's going to be a lot of fucking WoW tokens spent. In general, we don't expect the base reagents to be nearly as expensive, and most of the effort to become highly specialized will be through play, not spending gold. Even if for a time... what's that? To become highly specialized will be through play, not spending gold. What's that got to do with how much you expect them to charge? Even if for a time only a few players can make the best items at the highest quality, getting an item crafted at a lower quality will be much more achievable. Lower quality items will also be slightly less powerful in contrast to the tiers of legendaries in Shadowlands. Only be slightly less powerful, okay. Finally, you'll be able to get lower quality equipment recrafted to higher quality later by a more skilled crafter for minimal regen. I think a lot of WoW tokens are going to be bought for this stuff. Maybe I'll be wrong. But I think a lot of WoW... I just think there's going to be a lot of WoW tokens spent. That's all. Profession skilling philosophy. So the cost of stuff is something we're just going to have to wait and see, but I like a lot of how they're describing it, honestly. In Dragonflight, you will gain skill in your professions similar to the way you have in the past. There'll be one main difference, though, for primary crafting professions. Instead of needing to max your skill to learn all recipes, you'll only need to skill up about halfway. The intent is that you won't feel the need to rush to max out your profession skill, but instead can slow down halfway, content in knowing you can learn any recipe that you get your hands on. It would also mean that while you are filling crafting orders for others or making useful items for yourself, your guild, or to sell, that you will continue to gain skill. Finally, it should mean many fewer items will be made just to skill up, thus flooding the market and diminishing their value. This is also true because much of the latter half of your profession skill will be earned through crafting high-end items that require specially earned soulbound reagents. Since, as an individual crafter, you cannot earn enough of these on your own to max out your profession, you will often need to fill orders from others to maximize your profession skill. Makes sense. Signal Warden, thank you very much for the 13 months. Okay, a few Dragonflight-specific crafting details. In Dragonflight, you will find many recipes for extremely powerful craftable equipment. In fact, every primary crafting profession can craft one or more pieces, all of which work under a shared system with the following attributes. Up to 5 of these crafted pieces can be equipped at once, with a two-handed weapons counting as 2. All of them start at an item level range near to normal raids, increasing with quality. Through earned optional regents, they can be brought up to heroic and even mythic raid item levels, making them competitive with some of the best gear you can find. All are soulbound, so you'll either need to craft them yourself or have someone craft them for you through a crafting order. So yeah, the regents that you need to make these top quality gear pieces are going to be dropping from content. So they're going to drop from raid bosses, they're going to drop in your weekly vault. They're going to be like tier pieces. You are going to kind of have to earn your mythic helm in a way. You're going to need it to drop still, and then you're going to need someone to make it. Each piece of crafted equipment will require several types of soulbound reagents that you will need to earn several types. Wait, it's not even a single job. It's not even a single drop. Several types of soulbound reagents that you will need to earn to craft it and improve it with other optional reagents. One type of reagent will come from various challenging activities, including dungeons, raids, PvP, and adventuring in some dangerous outdoor areas. You will need to earn a fair amount of this reagent to craft a piece of equipment, more for significant pieces. You can also use this reagent to construct an optional reagent to bring this equipment up to around heroic raid level. Grindy, grindy, grind. Nothing the crafters can do to help you with that one, my friend. You have to go and get it yourself. It will address it, but this is sounding a bit like the thing I was worried about right now. Can everyone understand what I was describing at the beginning of this post now? A second type of reagent will come from a series of quests that award you enough to craft one piece of equipment. Additional stages of these quests will become available to everyone every few weeks. No. So this is very, very much a bad luck protection thing. This is very much a bad luck protection thing. This is not or intended to be a primary means of gearing. This is catch-up. This is very, very useful to lots of alts, I'd imagine. It's a supplement, very much so. Yeah. And I think it's important to appreciate that before we go in. This isn't all that complicated if you recognize what they are saying, which I think most of us can. Why soulbound and not account bound? Good shout. And maybe these quests, I feel like these quests need to be account bound at the very least. I feel like these quests need to be account-wide progress. I don't want to go out and do these quests again on every alt, just so I can commission the catch-up thing. Like the creation catalyst, when you go to Zereth Mortis, I can go straight to the creation catalyst on a new character just arriving in Zereth Mortis. I can use my fucking 12 charges or whatever I've got in that creation catalyst straight away if I've got the mats. Okay, this is why it's so important to understand what's being said, because then you can work out what things we need to ask for. These quests need to be account-wide. If we recognize that this is a catch-up system, then this is the thing that we need to be the feedback we need to be giving. There's no point, like, they intend this as a catch-up system, right? So there's no point going, oh, this shouldn't be a catch-up system. That's going to be feedback that gets you nowhere, okay? We have to appreciate what their intention is here, and we have to accept that that's what this is. It's catch-up. So within that in mind, what we are asking for and the feedback we need to give is that these quests, the ones that award you the shit that you need and to get it at higher levels and stuff, these need to be account bound. These need to be account wide progress. I would also want, I don't think this is going to happen, but I would also want these reagents, honestly, to be account wide too. I would like them to be account bound, not soul bound. But hear me out, I think the tiers below making mythic gear aren't intended at catch-up, but a gearing method for solo casual players. I hear what you're saying, Forsaken Wolf, and I don't disagree, but I think that's like saying that Sandworn relics aren't meant as catch-up, they're meant as a gearing process for casual players, which isn't incorrect, but casual players use Sandworn relics to fill the gaps more than for leveling. I think Sandworn Relic is probably, in essence, if not in the details, quite a good comparison here. So, you go, okay, Sandworn Relics, I can literally earn my 4 set through Sandworn Relics. And you go out and you start earning all the Sandworn Relics you can. But they're essentially, to all intents and purposes, they're basically time-gated. And in the meantime, you run LFR a couple of times. And you pick up maybe 2 bits of tier gear, from LFR in the same amount of time that it takes you to save the Sandworn relics that you need to buy gear as well. So in the end, even though you could gear up completely from Sandworn relics and get your tier set from Sandworn relics, in reality, because of the time it takes to do that, it's actually just a supplement, even for solo and casual players. Does that make sense? So in that sense, it actually functions as catch up for them too. At the best case, it's a supplement. I agree. I think Sandwich Relics should be account bound too. Yeah, but I think Sandworn Relics is going to be quite a good comparison point for what they're describing here. In theory, yeah, you could use it as your only source, but in practice, no one's going to actually do that, even if they are solo and casual. The item level is higher than LFR. Yeah, exactly. But okay, so eventually, if you really wanted to, you could replace all of your stuff with Sandworm relics, and you would have a higher item level, but no one gets their 4 set entirely from Sandworm relics. Does that make sense? You know, they might eventually replace the 4 set that they got with a 4 set made up entirely of Sandworm relics, but no one gets their entire 4 set that way. It is very much a supplement to fill gaps. And eventually, given enough time, yeah, it could become everything, but it's never like a primary means. The gear for spending Cypher upgrades ends up better than Sandworm relics. Yes, but you can't turn Cypher gear into tier sets. So I think it's important to appreciate what this system is meant to be, and it's a supplement. It's a bad luck protection. Are there going to be people that are very disappointed with that? Yes. Am I disappointed with that? Yes, a little bit, honestly. That's only when it applies to the highest items of gear, though. Philosophically, the goal of this system is to have professions be a meaningful source of high-end gear, elevating the importance and value of professions. As a crafter, you'll need to go to significant effort to gain the skill, specialization, and recipes necessary to craft this gear, but it should be well worth it. As a user of this gear, you will also need to go out and acquire many of the reagents yourself. The soulbound reagents are designed to provide a means of deterministic, incremental progression towards gear of your choice while doing the activities of your choice. In addition, the quest-acquired reagent mentioned above will limit how quickly you can acquire high-end crafted gear. This will prevent it from overwhelming other sources of gear. Yeah, it's a supplement catch-up. I might be a bit disappointed by that. I can see the reasoning and the logic behind it. I might be disappointed with that, but that's not me saying it's a bad idea overall. I feel like I can be disappointed in it being a supplementary catch-up thing, but also accept that that might be the best thing. Okay, so this is Alchemy and Files. You will find... Okay, we're almost at the end. You will find many strange and wondrous concoctions to discover during your alchemical experimentations on the Dragon Isles. One of these is the standardization of the file as an innovative replacement for the flask. Files work very similarly to flasks, lasting through death and counting as both a battle and guardian elixir. The main difference is they tend to require about half the reagents to craft and last half as long, but 2 can be drunk together to get the duration of a flask for extra flexibility. The reason this flexibility is beneficial is that a wide variety of files can be discovered, each with their own unique uses. The experienced adventurer may even find that they want to switch files from battle to battle. Never going to happen. Can I just say? Never going to happen. I completely respect it as an intent and as a goal from a design point of view, hence the added flexibility of a shorter duration. Just a few of the many options can be seen below. Numbers very much not final. Yeah, you might use one for Mythic Plus and one for Raid, for sure. Okay, yeah, I can go with that. I can absolutely appreciate that you might have a different file for Raid and for Mythic Plus. Yes, 100%. From boss to boss, we'll see. Note that because of the wide variety of files... Oh, wait, well, let's have a look at this. File of tepid versatility. Increase your versatility by 72. File of static empowerment. Remaining stationary will increase your intellect. Oh, no. 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 Scrap this one, please. No. Movement consumes the effect, granting up to 500 speed for 5 seconds. File of charged isolation. Your intellect is increased by 225 while at least 10 yards from allies. Oh my god. It's not the values that I'm against here, Justinian. It's the concepts. Note that because of the wide variety of files you may want to consider, you will not find a cauldron recipe for files in the Dragon Isles, but you will find one for the most powerful craftable potions. Finally, you may be wondering about alchemists and file duration. Not to worry, alchemists who choose to specialize in files will discover the secret to making files last significantly longer for them. This is just the start of what we have planned for professions in Dragonflight. Check back here on the official site for more as we progress through development. Thanks for reading, and we look forward to hearing your impressions and thoughts. 294 comments. We look forward to hearing more of your thoughts. Wow. Some takeaways. The biggest takeaway from that is obviously that this is catch-up supplementary gear when it comes to the high-level, gear. In the form that these professions take in terms of gearing, the higher item levels are very much a supplementary bad luck protection thing, catch-up thing. Am I a bit disappointed in that? Yes, because I'm a human being who had high hopes. Can I accept it's probably the correct thing to do? Yes. Probably. Do I think people will be happy about it? Oh, no. No, I don't. Is what it is. The other thing is, and I will repeat this hot take right now, because not all of you would have been here for it. I've got a feeling that a lot of these crafts are going to take hours, perhaps a day or so to make, depending on what reagents you're using and what your skill level is. And I think this is why there is no mission table in Dragonflight, is because I think this fills the gap. I think to make some of these items, these bigger items, you're going to be going to your workbench, and I think you're going to be starting the craft, which will then tick away just like a mission table mission. I think that's why there's no mission table in Dragonflight. I think this is it. This is your mission table. That's my hot take. Otherwise, I quite like it. I don't even dislike the fact that this is your mission table, honestly. I don't think that's a bad thing, by the way. Just because it's a hot take, I don't think that's necessarily a bad thing. There's lots that I like about this system. I still don't think crafting is ever going to be what people want it to be, with the depth that they want it to be, until you can completely separate it from any kind of player power and make it about cosmetic player housing items. We all know what people want crafting to be. Crafting can never be what people want it to be whilst it's connected to player power. I'm a firm believer in that. The only way crafting can be what people genuinely want it to be, as in, I might have to work for weeks to get good enough to make this thing, and then there's only a few of us that can even do it. That's what people want crafting to be, potentially, and you're never going to get that while it's connected to player power. You can only get that if it's connected to completely cosmetic things, and the only way you have the depth of cosmetic options like that, which cover the whole gamut of profession types, is if you have player housing. With that said, I like what's being presented here. I particularly like the work orders. I think work orders is such a great idea. I love that you're being able to filter it so it's only being put out to people in your guild and stuff like that. I think there's some fantastic ideas here. From now on, I will only be fraternizing with pentagolds. If you ain't a pentagold, you don't get to talk to me. You don't get to be my friend if you're not a pentagold. You're a fucking bronze dude? Fuck off, mate. I'm not even gonna look at you, let alone ask you for some gear. You're a silver, bro? Nuh-uh, you ain't. Ain't no scrub. No. You're a goldie? No, you ain't. Not in my guild, you're not. Get out. I'm not asking you for a single thing. Don't you even try and craft me any items. I'll throw them back in your face. If you try and give me one of your shitty items, Mr. Gold person, I'll be like, shove it up your gold ass. I don't want anything to do with you. Some diamond dude comes up to me trying to give me some crafted items. I'm going to be like, whoa. Dude, I appreciate that you are more skilled than many. However, I only hang with the pentagolds. You got to be a pentagold to talk to Tali. That's how it goes.